welcome to a brand new episode here on Britain's Farm. Yes, I said in a well, actually, before I go into that, how you all doing? Hope you're all good. Hope your Saturday is going rather well. At what is it now? 2 minutes past 3. So yes, and say hopefully you're all having a good day. My day, well, it hasn't happened yet, so I'll let you know in the next video. But but as I'm recording this Friday evening, or Friday late afternoon, I guess, although with how dark it's getting outside, you could almost say that it's evening now. But yeah, it's not been going too bad. Had a phone call from the ex today, and she was in a bit of a panic. She'd crashed the front of crashed her car and damaged the front, and so she was in a bit of a pickle today. But but my day is not too bad at the moment, thank you. Anyway, as I was saying, in a previous episode, about three-ish episodes ago, I said what we're going to do is we'll do the harvest, we'll get everything done, and then what we'll do is we'll sell everything, and then by the time we start FS25, the money we'll use, we'll buy the opening first farm on the game, and we'll use the money and start from there. So we weren't starting completely from scratch. What I didn't realise was, when I said that, was that FS25 was so close. So it's kind of now put me in a little bit of a pickle, because I'm like, hang on a minute, FS comes out Tuesday, or 25 comes out Tuesday. This is now Friday. I'm nowhere near finished. I've got an absolute ton load of stuff to do. My plan might not work. So yeah, just sort of kind of now I'm giving the Massey a go today, just because I hadn't really sort of used it in the last episode. You'll know, as you remember, I had them on course play, both of them. So the New Holland's getting a rest today, but the Massey's out in the field. And as I say, it's actually quite a nice little mod. There's a few errors in it. They're not game breaking errors, but there is a few errors in it. But overall it's a nice mod. It functions the way it should. I'm sort of basing it on the Britons one, the Britons combine, and this is a very accurate representation of the Britons combine. Very much enjoy using it. We could go a little bit nearer, to be fair. As I say, very much enjoying using it. The only sort of disappointing thing was it didn't have a header when it said it had a header in the pack, included in the mod. But if it did, I can't find it, but it's not in there. So whether it's a case of, because I got it from I can't remember what the site's called now. FS22.com. That's where I got it from, and it's a good website. That there's one ad. Every so often you get an ad pop up, but it's a really simple ad, and you just press the cross, and there's none of this, where millions come. Do you know what I mean? Like, you get one proper advert, and then you just press in. You can press the X to turn the ad off straight away, so you don't even have to sit there for 5 seconds. You can just press it straight off, and it's as I say, touch wood, I've never had a problem with the website, and that's pretty much, apart there and ModHub, is really the only two mod sites that I use. So very very good, very good mod site, and it's pretty much where, if it isn't on the ModHub itself, then that's where I've got it from, because I trust the website. And so therefore I use it. But I don't like King Mod sometimes has stuff on it that you can't get anywhere else, but I find that has very dodgy ads, and my computer goes a little bit nuts when I go on there, and is kind of flashing all kinds of warnings at me. And I realise that may just be sort of me and my experience, and not everyone else's, but I do find their ads on there can be quite, and also as well the site that I use, you can download it straight from the site, so you don't go to a third party like Mediafile or anyone like that. You get it straight from that website, and as I say, all it has is every now and again one ad pops up, and you just press the cross in the corner and it goes straight off. And as I say, there's no, you don't have to wait 5 or 10 or 15 seconds. You can just, as soon as the ad comes up, you can just click it off again, and that's all you get. And then it'll be a little while, and then the ad will pop up again. But yeah, so as I say, once I kind of realised it, was like, okay, well, my aim for Tuesday might be looking a little bit tight. But what I'll do is we'll do this video today, do a little bit of a chatty video, and then what we'll do is I'll crack on sort of off camera a bit and get some more of the combining, because I've got loads of combining to do, and then as I say, we'll sort of go from there. But yeah, I can't wait till FS25. I've seen a couple of sort of first look videos today, so I was watching Mr. Silly P. I mean, if you don't know who Mr. Silly P is, go and check him out and give him a subscribe, because it's a very good channel. And certainly one of the YouTubers that inspired me to want to, sort of do some videos. Him and Scroff really were the two. Wait, dear. Oops, we've had an accident. I've had an accident. The people in the UK will get that joke and reference. You don't hear nothing from Joe Pasquale anymore, do you? Yeah, so as I say, I've seen a few videos, and the one thing I have seen from Mr. Silly P was he did a kind of a review of the new contract system, and I really like it. You no longer get wheat from the contract. You no longer get to keep anything from the contract, and I really like that. That is absolutely superb. The fact that you don't get any of it, because before you could do a contract and you think, right, well, I've got 125 bales off this field. This is just off the top of my head, figuratively speaking. You got 125 bales off the field. The computer's probably going to want, I don't know, say 115. You could be left with anywhere, sort of between 10 and 15 bales for yourself. And I was kind of like, I was always kind of like, well, that just wouldn't happen. The farm that you've gone to do work for, they're their bales. They wouldn't go, oh, here's the money that I owe you, and do you know what, sod it. You've got some animals, take 6 bales. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just wouldn't do it. Oh, you've combined too much of my wheat, you have the rest. It's like, what? And that always kind of annoyed me a little bit. And I sort of do contracts because it's part of the game, and I like to sort of play the game, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? So I do them, but it does wind me up a little bit. So the fact that you now don't get anything from it is really good. I really like that. Really like that. And I also like the fact now that as well, you can just get like, I hope I'm not spoiling anything for anyone. Maybe I should not talk about it. I've just realised that maybe there's people out there going, I'll avoid it all weekend, and then it will all be a nice surprise. So yeah, maybe I shouldn't talk about it, but there's quite a few things. All I'm going to say is on the contracting side of things that I really like, and also the AI helper and GPS. I really like that as well. That looks very clever. And it looks like it works straight out of the box as well, which is pretty good. But yeah, no, I think what we'll do is we'll steer away from FS25 talk, just in case there are people out there that are watching this going, I didn't want to know the score. I kind of wanted to find out for myself. So I'll leave it there, because there are lots of other things that I was actually planning to talk about in this video, and then, as I say, I've just kind of sat here and just sort of thought to myself, maybe people don't want me to talk about it, you know, which is fine, because I can chat on for, you know, ages and ages and ages, so we can always talk about something else. So yeah, it's as I say, but from the first few bits that I've seen, I really like the look of the new game, and really looking forward to now playing it and doing some videos on it. You know, so that will be really cool. You know, it seems, I don't know, well, apart from 1950s, but it just seems every bloody YouTube series and video that I'm doing at the moment, I seem to be combining it. It's amazing how it works out that every save that I have, I end up doing the same, near enough the same, say, apart from 1950s, because 1950s I've just finished spring planting and rolling. That was in the last episode. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a quality episode, don't mind if I say so myself. And also as well, with that episode where I sort of kind of posed a question to everyone, well, I've had a reply, which I'm really grateful for, and the reply was that yeah, they would quite like to see me, you know, go to the museums and the other places and show sort of life from, you know, the 1950s, and farming, you know, sort of in general from the UK. So there's a couple that I'm looking at going to. So one is the Black Country Museum, which obviously is in Birmingham because it's referred to as the Black Country. Well, I have an idea why. I don't think it's the reason, if I'm honest, but I have an idea. Yeah, so I'm thinking about going there, and also as well Lincolnshire Life Museum. So there's a museum in Lincoln, you know, and that's so the Black Country Museum and the Lincolnshire Life Museum is actually a museum where the houses in the museum are for sale, so normal people can live there. But if you buy the houses, you then buy into the fact that you have to decorate your house and dress yourself from the period that they're representing. So it could be anywhere from the 1920s to the 1990s. I think they went up to, I think is where they've got to. And I'm pretty certain next year, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, one of them is from the 1950 to 1955, and I think the other one is 55 to 57, and that would just fit in absolutely perfect. The next place that I'm in talks with going to is the David Brown Museum, and that's in Yorkshire, but I'm not too sure how I'm going to get there yet. So the Lincolnshire Life Museum, that's not far from where I live. I can sort of drive there. The Black Country Museum, I can go on the train to that, so that's fine. Because I'm not a very confident driver. I like driving, but I'm not a very confident driver. I do get. I'm always. The only thing about driving is I'm always frightened of road rage, because I've said before, you know, I've got my issues and everything, and you know, if someone was to, you know, proper start, I wouldn't be able to defend myself. There's no point pretending that I would, you know. I've done that wrong. I can tell from the lines on the field that I've done it wrong. Never mind. It means we're going to have a gauze now at one end. Never mind. Yeah, so I say I wouldn't be able to defend myself. So, you know, it's kind of then, you know, it then makes me nervous about sort of travelling out, because I think, you know, if I happen to make a mistake and someone takes exception to it, you know, I'm either going to get punched, stabbed, or shot. You know, and I sort of figuring, you know, I've never been punched, stabbed, or shot before, but I can imagine it can be quite inconvenient to your life, you know, and I don't really fancy it, you know. So kind of sort of always thought, as well, I suppose, just don't go is the answer, but then I sort of then get cross because then I think, yeah, but I'm missing out because of other people then, but, and technically I'm missing out because of no one, only myself, because nothing's happened, But anyway, that's a me problem, not a you problem. So yeah, we, as I say, or I, I think I was referring to the royal we there. That's where I'm sort of kind of hoping to go next year. There's a few other places as well, and I have already called them, but as of yet I haven't really heard anything. So at the moment that's not happening, but it's only at the moment because I've not heard nothing, and people don't always get back straight away. So you've got to give people a chance. As as I was politely reminded the other day, I can't remember where I went, and oh no, it was when I went to get my medication from the doctors, and I stood at the pharmacy window, and there's a bell there to get their attention, and I sort of got to the window, looked into the pharmacy, and the two girls that work in there, they looked really busy. And so I just stood there. I didn't ring the bell. I just stood there. And both of them had looked at me like 3 or 4 times, and they just carried on doing what they were doing. And then she came over and she said to me, she goes, "Why didn't you ring the bell?" So I said, "Well, you were really busy and I've got all day, so I thought I'd let you get on with it." And she sort of looked at me and went, "Oh, well, that's really nice that you thought of it like that." I said, "Yeah, it doesn't matter." I said, like, you're really busy and I'm not. So I said, like, just crack on, innit? I said, I knew that when you got a moment, you would come over and serve me. And she was like, "Well, what can I do?" And as I say, she, was very helpful. And I find that, that's generally the way to be, is that if you are like that, people then suddenly, when you need something, are genuinely a little bit more helpful than what they might be otherwise. So it's always good to just take a moment and consider someone else. As you can see from that field, I'm slowly getting through the baling. Slowly. They need to be collected and sold, so that's going to be fun. Although I have got a auto stack bale grabber, so I auto stack from the bale grabber, and then I stack them onto the trailer, which is very funny, very hilarious. If you've not seen an episode of me stacking bales, go check one out because you'll have a good laugh. I certainly do. So yeah, it's it's fun times had by all kind of thing, what we'll do is we'll take the rest out of there because I think there's some still in there. I don't think it would have emptied it completely, did it? No, I didn't think so. We'll take the rest out of here, and then we've got a bit up there. Look, I thought I'd done that, but we'll go back and get that bit, and then we'll just nip across there with the combine, and then we'll do the other field next door, and that'll be grand. Yeah, so I told you a day or so ago about about a phone conversation that I had with a lovely lady at the eye hospital, and it was a story that I told. I didn't really, I sort of try and be, sort of light-hearted, jovial and funny on my videos if I can help it, because I just think, if any of you guys out there are having a bit of a, sort of a hard day or whatever, or to listen to me just sort of tell some funny stories while playing Farm Sim, I kind of hope, helps your day a little bit, sort of thing, and it helps my day as well, because I sort of like doing these videos, and anyway, I said that I had a phone call a week ago today, funnily enough, the phone call from the lady at the eye hospital who said, like, she wanted to book my appointment, and and I said that she booked the appointment for the 13th of November, and I sort of, the second I hung up, I suddenly realised, hang on a minute, that's the day after Farm Sim comes out on the Tuesday. And I was like, so I rang them straight back, and I was like, can can you make the appointment later? And they were like, what, in the day? And I was like, well, no, I'm thinking more December. And then she was like, well, I can, but why? And because she just said she was okay for the 13th of November. She said, have you realised you're doing something? And like an idiot, rather than saying, yeah, I've realised I'm not going to be available till December. No, not me. I went and said, well, no, it's just that there's a computer game coming out on the 12th. There's farming simulators coming out on the 12th, and I'd like a few days or a couple of weeks to sort of kind of mad play it. And she quite rightly reminded me of my priorities and told me off a little bit and said that she wouldn't change my appointment on the basis of a computer game, which is very good. But I sort of told that story, and I didn't really think much of it, but quite a few people have had the video got a comment, which I think it was a 1950s episode, not the last one that went out, but the one before it. I think it was the ploughing one, and as I say, I had a comment on there saying, oh, that story was hilarious, and I've told you before that a few people from like the area where I live watch my videos, and I got the next day I got a couple of texts that said, I can't believe you asked to move the appointment back for your eyes, for God's sake. Not, it's not like you've got a sore finger for your eyes just so that you could play farming sim. It's like, you do realise if your eyes decide to fail, you can't play farming sim at all. You need to get your priorities straight. So I was kind of like, oh, okay. Seems that everyone thinks I'm an idiot. But no, so I'm glad that I misjudged that one. Oh dear, I've just bent them. I did that in real life. I didn't hit a tree. I hit a train. A train? No, I didn't. I hit a drain tile. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, in one of our it was a field in a housing estate in Wisbech, and the housing estate goes round three sides of the field. The field's kind of in the middle of the housing estate because the farm that I work for refused to sell the land because it was really good soil, so they built the housing estate around it, and they thought if they crowded the field and made it sort of really awkward for us that we would kind of give in and sell them the land, which they didn't. And still to this day, because I've been through a few times, and the farm that I work for is still farming that land, and their reasoning being at the time was that too much farmland is being lost to development and this, that, and everything else. And they said, like, it's like the SFI thing. They've not taken it up on any of their land. They said, no, we're farmers. We grow food, not flowers. We don't grow, essentially food for birds and insects. We grow food for humans. That's what I get up in the morning to do. Not me personally, but what the farm manager of the farm was telling me. So he said, therefore, we've turned down the SFI, and I said, yeah, but it's free money. And he's like, but I don't want to grow flowers for, in fields that can produce a really nice field, crop of potatoes or wheat or, sugar beet or, sort of anything, So I was, sort of kind of like, I was like, well done to you, because every other farmer, and I noticed as well, that a lot of the farms that are complaining about the, the 20% tax now on £1 million, were, none of them complained when the government said, I'll tell you what you do, stay in bed all day, just grow a few flowers in a field, SFI, and we'll pay you crap loads of money. Sort of, I think sometimes it needs to balance out a little bit, all the farmers, like, you go back and watch all the YouTube channels, and they were all rubbing their hands like, oh, I can't believe we're going to get this much to, grow SFI margins and fields of wildflower mixes and stuff like that. And but then they sort of also do and don't get me wrong, what the Chancellor did, a fortnight ago, totally wrong, totally disgusting. I'm not in any way, kind of condoning, or, well, it's not up to me to condone or not to condone. The Chancellor does what she wants. She does whatever she wants, and she's, obviously very clued up about farming and made a very, sort of educated decision not. I think the difference between politicians and people in the real world is they live and experience the real world from their desks, where they can just invent numbers for anything. And we all live and breathe, not only farming, but the real life prices for, electric, gas, and all of that stuff. And so but my point being is that none of those farmers complained when, the government that they're sort of all attacking at the moment. And again, by the way, they're all complaining about it, but no one's doing anything about it. If this was the French, roads would be blocked up, ports would be shut down, and they would be making their fear. I think kind of our government's going, it'll be noisy for a month, and then everyone will just go away again. And if you want change, then you need to make change. It's a bit like me and my sort of exercise routine and trying to lose weight, which, by the way, I'm considering vlogging, because I'm someone that's got limited sort of kind of mobility and sort of physicality because of of everything that's wrong with me, and sort of waiting for the the heart transplant, which is going to be needed. Touch wood at the moment, not at the moment, but because we are sort of doing reasonably okay, and I'm hoping that in doing a little bit of exercise, I might be able to extend that time that I don't need it. So I'm but I mean, it's all chair-based exercise, and it's really for, well, from what I can tell, from 190-year-old people with osteoporosis and everything else. 'Cause I'm kind of sitting there at 43 going, I might have to do this one again. Don't actually feel any burn yet, so it's kind of like, I don't think it was necessarily designed, but anyway, I can manage it, and I can manage it, and I don't get sort of none of my symptoms and none of the problems, or touch wood, so far. So therefore I'm kind of sort of persevering with it a little bit, because obviously, as I said, I'm hoping it's going to benefit me, and I do need to lose. And then this is from from St Bart's in London, and from a GP of all said you need to lose about 2.5 stone in weight. You're getting a little bit tubby. Or as my surgeon Vivian put it, she sort of took one look at me and went, "You're fat." I said to her, I said, "That's it, Vivian, you tell it how it is." And she went, "Well, I'm not going to beat about the bush." She goes, "You're fat." And I was like, "I know." And she was like, "You need to lose some weight." And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And she said, "Right, we need to come up with an exercise routine that you can physically do, and that's only sort of anywhere from sort of a 5-minute maximum shift, but it will help." And then obviously changing my diet. But yeah, so I was thinking about vlogging it, so that other people can kind of sort of, maybe hopefully other people that have got disabilities and illnesses and stuff, and think, well, I'm perhaps not capable of doing that. Actually, it's surprising what you are capable of. But the point being that I was trying to make was that I had recognised that I needed to change. I'll be brutally honest and say I couldn't be bothered to do anything about it. I had a choice every day, and I chose not to. And that's the the brutal truth of it, is that I chose not to do anything about it. And then one or two sort of, as I say, one or two people sort of said what they said, and then Vivian came out with what she came out with, and and then and then we had sort of quite a frank discussion, and she said some things that scared me. And I mean, it's still taken near enough 2 months for me to actually do something about it. And I just literally woke up last Sunday and it was like, nah, I'm changing. I stood in the shower and was kind of looking at myself, and I was like, nah, I've got to change. I physically can't do this. And what basically it was that I looked down, and for the first time ever in my life, looking down, because of the size of my stomach, I couldn't see my feet. I was like, I'm not having that. When I look down, I expect to see 2 clown feet sticking out. Do you know what I mean? And I couldn't. Literally, I had to lean quite a long way forward to see my feet, and I was like, yeah, I think we need to do something about this, Jimmy boy. So as I say, that was on the Saturday, I think it was, when I was in the shower, Saturday, sort of late afternoon, early evening, and I just thought, nah, I'm not having this, and then, as I say, a chance meeting with a physiotherapist earlier that day, funnily enough, and then also as well, kind of, she said, like, it won't be long before you get diabetes, it won't be long before and I'm on a lot of pills anyway for my heart, and I thought, I don't want more medication, so I thought, and she said, like, it doesn't need to be that way, you can actually do something about it, she suggests you've got to be mindful of the things you've got to be mindful of, and the fact that you can't do things as easily as what sort of I and the rest of us can do, that have not got the issues, but that doesn't mean you can't do anything. You just need to find stuff that's tailored for you, and there's loads out there. And she, within the space of sort of 5 minutes, had given me, not only some tips and some things to do and try, but also, some little exercise routines that are easy to do, that, just, hopefully going to make the difference. And I was really grateful for it, but it's only because I've decided that I'm not happy with a situation, and it's like, I'm going to do something about this. And I think this is the same, with the fun. And this is all I'm going to say on this now. I'm not going to talk too much, because, I'm obviously talking about something that I don't know everything about, and I do realise it is wrong, and I do understand the reasons why they are upset, but and the fact that the National Farmers Union have basically shafted them all and said, no, we're not getting involved, we'll stay out of this one, I think is terrible, because they're supposed to be there to stand up for the farmers against the British government. But yeah, so anyway, in terms of the exercise thing, as I say, I'm thinking about vlogging it, because sort of, doing a side on with my shirt off. I know, ladies, you won't be able to control yourself, I understand that, but it's fine. I'm a single guy, I'm okay. I've just made myself sound a complete idiot, you know that, don't you? And yeah, doing the whole kind of side on thing, and then kind of from there, let's have a look. Now we need to go next. We'll never get the rest. I was hoping to get the rest of that in, but we're not fitting that in. And then doing sort of a vlog of the little exercises that I do when I go for a walk. Maybe when I go for a walk, I can kind of do a sort of sort of chatty video. I'm not saying this is what I am going to do, I'm just saying this is what I possibly could do, and people might find it interesting, they might find it helpful, I don't know. I don't know, but that's sort of what we could do. Anyway, I think I'm going to leave my video here, because I've probably gotten myself into a lot of trouble with a lot of farmers. Because I watch all the real life YouTube farm videos, and then every farmer that I watch has been going on about the budget, all but one. Only one of them hasn't mentioned it. And then last night I was watching another one. They released a video last night, the first one since the budget, and we got, it was a sort of 38-minute video or something like that, and we got up to about 28-30 minutes into the video, not a mention of the budget. I thought, oh, thank God, just someone who's just chatting about his day, chatting about what he's doing, and this, that, and everything else. I thought fantastic. And then it got to, well, I say about 30 minutes, and then he goes, and as for that budget thing, I'm not mentioning that. And then for the next 8 minutes, all he talked about was the budget, but he weren't mentioning it. And I'm just sitting there thinking, the irony. You're going on and on about the budget, and then, but after every point, but he goes, oh, I'm not going to mention it, I'm not going to talk about it. This is not going to be one of these YouTube channels that is going to bore you all to death with it, because every YouTube channel's been doing it and blah blah blah. And then he's like, don't get me started on this. I'm thinking to myself, so we are going to talk about the budget then. It's just like, but anyway, as I say, I've sort of said what I've said. I don't know everything. I'm not, sort of clever enough in a way to understand everything. I've just kind of taken snippets from everybody that I've heard, and then kind of put my own sort of little opinion on it. And as I say, yes, what she's done is absolutely horrendous. I'm not saying it isn't. But at the same time, like I say, these are the same farms that weren't complaining for basically being given money to just grow 3 flowers in a field that didn't produce very much in the way of crop. And I just think it needs balancing out sometimes. Yes, that doesn't make up the difference. I understand that. So it's not a case of, okay, well, just what you're getting from that, cover the. I understand that it doesn't make the difference, and the reason I understood it actually was, and I didn't, not really, until I started a new save game for myself. So I wanted to try a few things out in sort of 22 to see whether later on in FS25 whether it might actually be plausible and whether it would actually work, because I'm always trying to come up with new ideas and new sort of let's plays and different things like that, and I was sort of trying it out. And what I did was I got a start farm with a few fields and gave myself £1 million. Now with the £1 million I had to buy the fields, I had to buy the farm, and I had to buy the equipment that I would need for the farm. And of course I very quickly realised that what a lot of these farmers had been saying was actually very true. That actually my £1 million didn't go anywhere. I bought the farm and some land, and that was like nearly 500 grand gone. And then it was a case of like I literally had to buy the most rubbishest tractors and combines and implements available, because I literally didn't have the money for anything half decent. So I do get it, and that made me understand that actually, the £1 million that they're being taxed on doesn't get you anything in farming, and I, as I say, I truly do understand that now. So I am in support of farmers, and all I'm saying is that if you do have a problem with what's happened, then do something about it. Get together, as there's hundreds of thousands of farms probably in this world, tens of thousands of farms maybe, I don't know, there's probably not even that many, but from smallholders to big businesses to family farms to all of that sort of good stuff, tenant farms and all of that, there's enough farmers in this country to make a massive difference, and to really hammer home to the government, start closing down motorways with tractors across 4 lanes and combines and foragers and different things. Go to bloody London and the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben and all the London landmarks and start blowing straw and spreading cows all over the roads and everywhere. Start doing stuff like that. People will start listening. And I think the difference, because I'm not being funny, but the Just Stop Oil, they had no problem with doing it. They had an issue and they went out and did it. Did they achieve anything? Not sure, don't know. Don't care, because I didn't really support them. I think if farmers came out to the general public and said, this is what's happening, this is the state of play, and this is what we would like to do, would we have your support to do it on this day and this number of times, I think the general public would support you, because I think most of the general public are appreciative of what farmers do, You know, it's a bit like, you know, I was watching, and I mean, you know, I've featured them in, you know, a few of my videos. Richard from Dove Farms was saying that, you know, he's having trouble selling his wheat and barley and stuff, and the place where he normally sells it have just imported, I can't remember how, I think it was like 35,000 tons on a ship of barley that had to go through, that didn't need a passport stamp, so it didn't need to be traceable. It doesn't need red tractors backing to go into the food chain. So it's kind of like, well, hang on a minute then. If all of our farmers are being hit by all of this red tape and bureaucracy, how come that, and we're all kind of thinking, oh, our food's well, you know, sort of, if you like, governed and policed and everything, and we know what we're eating is top quality because of all of the stringent rules and everything that farmers have to follow, and then suddenly you realise, well, actually it isn't, because we're shipping all of our produce out abroad, so they're getting really good, high quality, traceable food, and we're eating all the crap from the rest of Europe. To realise I may upset a lot of people, and I do apologise, but it doesn't, you know, it just doesn't seem right. You know, this is, as Katie Hopkins puts it quite well, you know, this is, you know, sort of, as she says, bonkers Britain, because we're honestly, we're idiots. But anyway, I am going to leave the video here because it's been 41 minutes. Thanks ever so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the content, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't, give it a thumbs up anyway. Why not? Just pretend you're the Fonz from Happy Days. Anyway, I'm gonna go, and thank you so much for watching. I've really enjoyed chatting to you on this video. I hope I haven't upset anyone. If I have, I do apologise. You remember, it's an uneducated person's views. That's all. You know, at the end of the day, you know your farms, you know your industry, you know a lot better than what I do. And as I say, you know, if you're not happy about it, do something about it, and I'll be fully behind you 100%. And if you need me to put anything out on my YouTube channel, I'll certainly do that. Not a problem. Anyway, thanks ever so much. Bye for now.